Hey, heads up. We talk about serious, sometimes uncomfortable shit on this podcast. But don't worry, hopefully you're going to laugh your ass off.
Coping chaos.
Thanks for joining us for Coping Chaos, a podcast about coping with the chaos of daily life while also navigating the uncertainties of mental illness. I'm Leah Williams.
And I'm KJ Servey. We're not medical professionals in any way, but we like to say we're not experts, but experts in our own mental health. And we want to have a conversation with anyone who's been affected by mental illness in any way.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are back again together. It's been a few weeks now since
Yep.
we've done any recording, so we're pretty excited. Came over here and brought the dog and my daughter, so we're staying forever. No, I'm just kidding.
It's fun to have another dog around. We just
Right?
have Willie right now, so having another dog for her. And she's blind, so at first she was like, what is happening?
Yeah, she was like, what is all these smells that I'm smelling?
But I think it's going well.
Yeah, I haven't heard
else.
anything up there so far, so
She just likes to sleep too. So
yeah, that's true.
she's an old lady like me.
Now I'm like, I want to go sleep. But all right. Well, in honor of Mother's Day, today's topic is all about the struggles of parenting combined with mental health issues. This one is definitely a big one since my main job is stay-at-home mom. So
Yeah.
like this one, I'm like, oh, I have so much to say. But we'll start, I guess, with the positives of parenting, which sometimes can be hard when you're having a bad day to even think of or want to think of. But right now I'm feeling good. So actually I could think of things,
good.
but I'll let you go first if you'd like.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, because we are in different parts of parenting.
Yes, exactly.
I said the regular things about positives is, being loved. One thing I have always loved, and like I said, I've seen through the spectrum right now, and watching another human discover new things.
Yes.
And you remember what it was like when you did that, and seeing it, just there's a lot of pride, and it's a lot of fun. And so that's been like a big thing with parenting, just knowing that they're a human and they're figuring things out on their own, whether sometimes that's hard, which I'll talk about in other places.
Yeah.
I was a couple years ago when I was interviewing for jobs. I said this on multiple interviews, and some people have humor and some people don't, but they would be like, what's a big accomplishment in your life? Something like that. And I would joke that I made a child to 18 and they're still alive.
Right? But that's hard.
That was an accomplishment. And some people were like,
They're like, is that an accomplishment? And you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, they thought it was a little morbid, or like, I don't know. But
no, to me, that makes perfect sense. Like, I haven't done that yet, but I'm almost there.
You're almost there. You almost got it.
Oh, gosh.
Less than a year.
Oh, that's crazy to me.
Isn't
I can't
that?
even believe that.
Oh.
But
So yeah, what about you?
Well, I think also pride, satisfaction. I just feel a sense of pride when like I see my children accomplish something and they're proud of themselves.
Yeah.
I just feel extra proud because I'm like, they get to feel good about themselves. I feel good about them.
Yeah.
Another thing, like you had said, love, unconditional love, even though your child will get mad at you and things like that, deep down, well, I know my kids still really love me. Of course, they're younger too, so I know that it changes as children get older and things like that. But I do feel like, especially on the good days when everything's going right and I'm sitting there and I'm giggling with the kids and we're just talking about the day. Those are the moments where I'm sitting there like, this is why I had kids. This is why I wanted to be a parent. This is what I wanted out of this experience was the love, the camaraderie, the group that we have. Because when we're all together as a family and we're all laughing and joking, those are the best times. Those are times I look back on when I'm at my lowest to remind myself, this is why I need to stay, because of these special moments that I have with this family that I've created. So
I also picture that, or kind of the opposite of how devastated they'd be without me.
Exactly.
But having that love, having that family, especially I never felt like I had a, good family with my parents. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's been really, and we'll talk more about that too. But
yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a story about parenting with mental illness?
I have a lot of them,
Yeah,
but I think my biggest one, because this goes so well with where we're going to be going with this episode, it's about my son, Sean, the one that he's the strongest disabled of all. It's so hard to say that because I don't really know where he is on the autism spectrum, but we still have to get him in to get everything done. But one of the biggest things for him is like, you can't tell him you're going somewhere until you're just about to go, because otherwise he constantly is like, okay, let's go. And this example is the library. I told him, we're going to the library on Thursday, and it was a Tuesday. Big mistake, big mistake. And so every minute of every hour, he's like, go to the library, go to the library, go now to the library, go, and I'm just trying to say, no, we can't go yet. And then Thursday comes around, and it's Thursday in the morning, and he wakes up at 5 in the morning. So at 5 in the morning, are we going to the library now? Now it's the library. And I'm like trying to explain, the library is closed. We couldn't even go in the library. We'd have to sit outside. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. Let's just go and sit outside. When I know we'd get to the library and he'd have a meltdown in the car too.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's having a meltdown because that overstimulated him, I feel like. And so because of that, everything else is bothering him, because he's just, as soon as he's overstimulated, he becomes bossy. It's like he wants to control what everybody in the house is doing. So if I'm eating something and he doesn't want me to eat that particular way, he'll be telling me not to, but in his way of doing, like, Mama, stop eating. Mama, don't do that. Or, or if I try to play a video game or something, Mama, don't play video game, or something like that. Anyways, he was having this huge meltdown for the library, and he's in my face because a big thing he does, he bites his finger when he's feeling really upset, and he'll just get right in your face, like breathing on you, pushing on you almost. It's like as physical as you can get without being too physical.
Right.
Because I have mental illness, the first reaction, I get anxious, I get upset, I want to walk away, I want to run away. That's like my first reaction, but you can't, it's only me and him during the day, so I can't just walk away. I can't even like go in the bathroom and close the door for very long, because he's going to do something, not on purpose, but he'll get it into something or get hurt or something like that. But it was just so hard for me to get out of how I was feeling so that I could make him calm down, like, because it's just, I'm in like flight or fight mode at that time, and I'm freaking out, and all I want to do, and this sounds terrible, is just pick him up and just throw him across the room so he can be as far away from me which is not what I did, obviously, but you get that small impulse, and you just. Another thing, I felt so guilty for thinking that, but it's like, that's how I felt in that moment. And so, I just feel like it's really hard when your child is having an emotional breakdown. You yourself always have emotional breakdowns, and the reaction, you're trying to react in the way you're supposed to, but your body is betraying you, And so it's that to me is very difficult. And that happened just a couple days ago on Thursday. So, but So how about for you?
Well, okay. So this has to do with my oldest child, who's almost 22. That's scary.
Yeah, right. Wow.
And I keep saying, like, being the parent of an adult child has been the worst phase of raising my kids.
See, and I don't know. I'm scared. I am scared.
It's been really hard. And she's my, firstborn. There was a time where it was just me and her, just a year that we were before Lucas came into our lives. But, so it's really, a special relationship. I've always, because I had a horrible childhood, I wanted to, make things good for her. But recently, she's been, figuring out her own way, being her own adult.
Yeah.
But she's been doing things that go against our values, and we don't feel safe being around her. We've basically said social situations. We're not inviting her to things. And that's so hard.
Oh,
But it's a lesson too. Like, she has, she wants to choose these things. There's also natural consequences as well.
Yeah, exactly. You have to recognize that certain people that you love and care about are hurt by certain decisions. Yeah. And if you decide to make those, then you have to deal with that person not wanting to be around you, even if they do love you and you love them. So
and so, but the big thing with us is we're like, we'll always help you. I'm like, come get anything out of the kitchen, if we don't have, we can help you out here and there with money if we need to, can ask rides. You can use our laundry. Like you can crash here if something happens. You're in a fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we want to know that her to know that
like this is
we're
still a
always here.
safe space
Yeah,
for her,
exactly.
but you're not going to allow yourself to go out of your comfort zone in her spaces if
Yeah.
she's choosing to not provide a space
Yeah.
that's safe for you. So
And recently we've been doing that. She's, come a couple times to get food because, her boyfriend isn't getting as many hours as he was. So, they're struggling a little bit, as you do at that age.
Oh yeah.
And,
Definitely.
and their apartment is nicer than any apartment I had at that age.
Oh, see?
It's not like super nice, but still. But yeah, so recently we have helped her, she did it, with food, and then she didn't have a car for, I don't know, 5-6 weeks. And so we'd give her rides here and there, not all the time, but we would help her out with that. And, I might have mentioned taking her to buy her car. She had a very small budget, like $1,500. So that's very limiting on what you can get. And because she'd gotten her tax money, and Lucas had taken her a couple places, and they really hadn't found anything. And then she found like 2 or 3 that she really wanted to look at. But that morning, Lucas had his colonoscopy.
Oh, yeah.
So we kept joking. Well, he couldn't drive, so that meant I had to drive. And he kept joking because the main things they tell you is you can't drive for 24 hours and you can't make big decisions.
Oh, no.
So he kept telling Zayden, well, you've got to make these decisions. I'm not allowed to make big decisions.
They told me that too at the colonoscopy. I remember that.
Yeah, and so I had to drive. I had driven to look at one car, and they decided not to. And then we got back to Zayden's apartment building, and she's like, wait, this one looks really good. But it was like an hour and 15 minutes north of us.
Ugh,
I'm like, I do not want to do this. All day was my day off. Lucas decided, oh, you have a day off, so that's a good day for
me to do the colonoscopy.
I'm like, next time, schedule it any time, and I can take a sick day.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my extra. No, but like I just wanted to rest that day, and I was like, but this does look like a good prospect. So anyways, we went up there, and it did end up being right. But I say all that because I never want to be like quid pro quo where I'm like, I helped you, so you have to help me. I feel it more is like modeling, like I've done the whole time that, she's been alive, showing how you respect family, showing how you help family. And so I asked her the other day, because we're going to Chicago. My youngest daughter, Sophie, she was supposed to come with us. But now, she's graduating in May, and there's this thing that happens at the end of the year, but she wants to go because it's her last time.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, well, I don't know what to do because we're going to Chicago. So I asked Zayden, I said, all you're going to have to do, Friday, we're going to drop her off at school on our way out. You'll have to pick her up after work. She's doing this event, so it's like till 7, so you don't even have to get there unless you want to watch her sing. And then she could leave in the morning because that was Saturday. Basically, all I needed her to do was, make sure Sophie took her medicine at night and in the morning and just sleep over. So basically, her life would be the same except for staying here. And, that wasn't a lot to ask. I didn't feel like. And the first time I asked her, she like, oh, my schedule's going to be different. I don't want to mess anything up. And just giving me all these excuses. I'm like, your schedule will be the same. You're just going to spend the night here instead of home.
Yeah.
And it was only 2 nights. That's all. And I said, we're going to be home Sunday afternoon, so you can just leave. And because Sophie can do the day by herself.
Exactly.
Making sure she's gotten fed and taking her medicines. That's the biggest thing. And so I did say that. I said, well, it's only going to be this little bit of a commitment. And she said, well, all this stuff kind of about her job. And she's like, well, I didn't want to say it, but I just don't want to do it.
Oh, wow.
And so part of me, like with my mental health, overthinking, and it's like, I want to say, well, I didn't want to do that.
But I did it because I care about you and love you.
But I have,
and that's what people who care and love each other do for each other.
But I feel like if I say that stuff, then it's going to push her further away. So I didn't really say that. And I didn't really say anything but I'm like, how do I teach her? How do I, but not push her away? Because obviously we're already kind of, distanced a bit. And so I'm like, am I doing the right thing? But I'm just like,
See, and I would have responded.
I
I have
know.
no
Oh,
control. I have no self-control, so I know I would have said
But I
something
didn't want to
back.
escalate it, but
Yeah.
also I want her to understand. So I'm hoping I can like take her to coffee or something, and just kind of talk about that. But
And just say, hey, this was painful in the fact that I do a lot for you and you're not reciprocating in any way. And in a relationship, it's about reciprocation. It's not just take. It's take and give. And that's the point of relationships.
But my anxiety, I'm so scared of losing her or things like that there were so many things like I started or wanted to type, because, she won't talk to me on the phone.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to talk shit about her, but that's how it all affected me, and
and as a parent, it's so hard because you've been instilling these things. You want your child to be a good person in how you view a good person to be, and so it's hard when you see them doing things you did not teach them. It's like the opposite of what you taught them, and you're like, why? But so many parents deal, I know, with their older child when they first go out doing things that are crazy or whatever, just because they're like, oh, I can make my own decisions now. I'm in charge. But then they realize, oh, wait, maybe that's not a good idea. But
so sorry, that was a long one.
Oh, no.
That's something that's been really difficult the last few weeks. And actually probably just only a couple weeks, but.
Well, that kind of goes right into the physical aspects of parenting because you were physically driving, and that's like a big part of it is driving, cleaning, cooking, making appointments, planning, organizing, making sure everything is running smooth.
Exactly.
And I know for me, especially now that I have the car I just got, my responsibilities have like doubled because, I was getting deliveries of groceries and now I go, which actually is better than delivery. Is odd, but delivery is stressful in its own way. So now at least I can see the things myself. I can get sale items if I want. I can look at the clearance section. I'm addicted to clearance.
Yeah, me too.
So I always got to go to the clearance section, and it's better that way. But yeah, the physical aspects of parenting, I feel like, are so difficult when you have the mental illness in your brain rattling around at the same time, because not only are you questioning everything that you're doing and whether you're doing it properly and well and helping your child in the best way possible, but you're also fighting the depression, the anxiety that's like, you're not good enough. You can't do this. What are you even doing this for? Why are you even trying when you know later on, you're going to be disappointed in yourself anyway, or, things of that nature. So...
Yeah, I had written down similarly, I'm like, always thinking I'm not doing enough. And I think that just wraps it up.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I'm trying to do what I can. And like me, I can't be the cook. I can't clean. I just physically and mentally can't do that. But there goes the guilt.
Yeah.
We have guilt coming up, an episode, a double episode. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we can talk about that all day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, if I can't do something like the kids want to do, or especially if it's like last minute, I have to cancel, and they're like, what? Like, especially Sophie, who, being autistic, it's like...
It's hard to accept something like that.
When something changes.
It dysregulates you. Yeah.
So, that's hard. Then I feel even more bad, but I'm like, I'm making the right choice. Am I making the right choice? But I know deep down that,
in that moment for you, that was the choice you needed to make, and because you knew how things would have gone if you'd gone.
Right. Yeah, and it's hard, but like sometimes I have to really think about that, and sometimes, and we're like moment to moment with our mental and physical and emotions, so it's like.
That's the worst thing, the mood swings, because I'll be perfectly happy at the beginning of the day, and Ryan will see me, and I'll drop him off at work, and then all of a sudden at noon, how are you doing? And I'll just send him this, string of texts, and he's like, oh, crap, here we go. No, he doesn't say that, but
no.
I'm sure for him, he's like, oh, no, she's upset again.
but the physical parts, again, my physical parts are a little different than yours are now, but but I can remember it's still all there with me. Everything I've ever, canceled or whatever. Even this thing where I said Sophie wants to stay. We did find her a friend that will let her stay at her house.
That's good. I was going to say I could offer too.
I know. I was going to ask, but I didn't know. It's kind of a weird timing, but.
Well, in the future, if it's a weekend especially, you can just ask me if anything, and I could bring Saya up or something. So.
even now that she wants to go to that thing, now she's going to sign up to sing a song, and it'll be the first one that I haven't seen her sing, well, that I knew she was singing. She did it once without me knowing. So, but yeah, so even that, I'm like, oh, when she made the choice.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had this Chicago trip because we we're going to see a concert. And, it's been like 6, 7, 8 months that's
you planned it already way ahead of time.
It's like, and it's been on there, and we knew it was the week before she graduated, so that was good, but, yeah. So.
But you can plan and plan and plan all day long, and it might not work out. But one thing I was thinking of when I was looking at the physical aspects of parenting was the cooking aspect, because I am the main cook in the house, but when I'm depressed, like, that's the last thing I want to do. So I'm either ordering fast food, which I then feel guilty about, but it's like, at least my children are fed. You know, like, fed child is a happy child. And I know if there's like 3 days in a row where I've ordered food, which does happen because my depression will be so bad for like days that I can get out of bed if I have to, but it's like, I'm a different person. I'm not fully there. It's almost like being in a dream state, because it's like I'm so in my mind that even though I'm physically going through the motions, it's kind of like, this makes me think of like when you're driving and you space out and you're like, how the hell did I just get here? I've been driving for 20 minutes. It's kind of like that for me, because it's like I'll
autopilot.
Go do something, I'll sit back down, and then I'm like, did I get up and do it or did I not? Questioning myself, like, did I do that or not? Did I take the laundry up like I thought I did? Did I switch it? Because the laundry's upstairs, so I have to go upstairs to do laundry. So I'm like, did I switch it? Did I not? I don't know. Did I even put it in? I don't remember.
I do that a lot with medication, which is scary.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Lucas is in charge of my medication for other reasons, safety plan reasons.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'd be like, did I take the Advil? And he'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I have no remembrance of taking that,
And when you have constant pain, it's like, is it duller or is it not? I don't know, because I'm always in it, so it's hard to know.
Yeah, so totally. And that's kind of, the emotional side of, parenting.
Yeah.
It goes right along with the physical. I don't know. I didn't write a lot here because I'm just like, every moment of every day I'm emotional. So like, teaching how to handle emotions when you're already, feeling those emotions.
I feel like a hypocrite at times, because I'll be like, you can't react that angry over something like that. Even if you do feel that angry, we can't react that way to other people because it will escalate things. But then I'll think to myself, like, I just did that last week, and I'll just feel bad because I'm like, am I being a good parent by teaching them this, even though I don't do it? And then I'm like, but it's my job as a parent to teach them these things, even things that I know myself I'm not good at, that I still struggle with at 40, things that I wish I didn't, but that I do. So especially emotional regulation.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a big one. And I see people like telling their kids, stop crying. And I'm like, I can't even make myself stop crying. So like, I try not to say that.
Yeah.
Brian says it sometimes and it'll irk me when I hear him say it to the kids, because I'm like, they can't just stop crying. Like they can, but then they're pushing it inside. So it's not a healthy way.
Yeah, and there's ways,
it's just be like, if you're feeling sad about this, maybe we can go do something about it instead of just sitting and being sad, or something like that. But yeah, emotional parenting is so hard, because like I said, I'm still learning. I feel like that's actually one of my worst things is my emotional regulation when I'm at my lowest. It's like I'm fine until I reach a certain point, and then all chips are off the table. That's it. So.
Yeah. Well, like in the reading emotions before they happen, like, for me or for teaching the kids, it's like I'm trying to lead by example, the whole modeling, like I say, but also I want them to know it's normal to have these feelings too.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm not all perfect. I mean, my kids know that, but but some people feel like they have to keep their issues away from their children. And there's a point.
Certain things,
There's an age appropriate, and things like that. But they need to know that their feelings are normal. Like,
other people feel it. It's okay to have a meltdown or a breakdown every now and again. Like, that's a normal human emotion to have, even if you don't have mental illness.
Right. And then you see these, other people that may, keep it all from their children. And maybe those kids would be like, what's wrong with me that I'm feeling this way all the time?
Yeah.
And I have all these difficulties and they're just perfect, so I don't know, the modeling and, again, appropriately, although now that my kids, are the age they are, they they're seeing the real me, and I'm the worst I've ever been, emotionally, and mental illness, and so it's like there's not much I can hide.
Yeah.
I mean, there are still things I try to not hide, but not burden them with,
But yeah, that's how I feel too with my oldest. Like Saya sees a lot more than she used to. But the two youngest, they're autistic, so they really can't handle my emotions in that way. Especially not Sean, who he feeds off my emotions.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm in a bad mood, I try really hard not to show it because he'll start being in a bad mood too. And then that makes it worse for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you feel it's pressure as a parent, like, oh, am I emotionally doing this right now?
Yeah.
Should I be happier? There's always questions, always questions.
Oh, yeah.
And then with this next one, parenting while dysregulated, that's a huge one because, like I said, the last couple of days I was feeling so bad that like I couldn't even cook, and I'm feeling guilty because we have McDonald's, right behind where we live, so we get so much. I'm like, we're keeping this McDonald's in business. I'm just saying, but yeah, we had McDonald's for like 2 days in a row, and then we had a pizza another day, and I'm on the third day, I'm just thinking, you're a failure as a parent. I'm thinking all these negative things. And then my kids are like, yay, pizza. Like they're happy and eating and totally fine. And I'm wallowing in misery. But
the last 3 days, we also ate out. I don't know what the first day was, but then we had sushi delivered.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I wish my kids would eat sushi.
I know. and then we had pizza last night, too.
Oh, see, good choice. Scott, that's his favorite. So, but yeah, I for me, it's like of everything, the food is the last. So like, because like cleaning, I am literally the only one that cleans, and I don't do it all the time. In fact, they are going into our room today to inspect our room for smoke alarms, which is their excuse every time they come in the rooms. And I get anxious because I'm like, it's cluttered in here because it's such a small space. Yeah. And so even this morning, I was freaking a little bit about it. Like I clean all the time, but this last week I was so bad that I didn't clean like I normally do. So now it's messier than it normally is. And then they put the note on the door yesterday, and I'm like, well, I'm going to be gone. And I'm like, ah! But yeah, so I don't know. But that's one of the big things is also another thing. I feel like the second I'm having a breakdown, that's when Sean needs a diaper change. Or, the kids they'll come up and be like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, I want to rip the hair out of my head, but, let me just go get you a snack really quick so I can go back to it. Yeah. But I think I saw a meme that was like that, where it's like the person's like, I just want to just go to sleep. And the kid's like, no, you got to get up and you got to make me breakfast and do all these other things. And I was like, that's Sean for you. I'll be laying in the bed depressed, and he'll be right there like, snack? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, the parenting while dysregulated has been a big thing. I mean, it always has been, but right now, because, I've been the worst I have been. This last week and a half has been terrible. Not anything like specific. Some of it's been, my treatment's not working, and everybody's trying to be positive about it there. And
but you're like, if it's not working, it's not working. So, it's frustrating.
Yeah. And so like, I'm like emotionally at the brink, and everything is just, I mean, I had an email that said one sentence, and that it was Monday morning, and someone said, I know you hate me, and it just made me cry. And I know she's a very serious person, so she was probably trying to make a joke, but there was no smiley, there was not even her name signed after it. It just
it just said that with a period, so you're like, oh man.
That's where I am, and then I'm just on the edge of blowing up. And Sophie and I have almost the exact identical mental illnesses, and so we set each other up, and she has the autism as well. And so all of those things, like, because I will be like, just snap, or just be like, I can't deal with this right now, and then she's like, I can't deal with this right now, and then she doesn't understand, like, everything is like something negative that we're saying about her, or you don't want, me to talk to you, you don't want to listen to this. And I'm like, dude, I can't even deal. And sometimes with her, it's like, oh, I feel like this. And she's like, oh, I know that feeling. But a lot of the times, if it's a dysregulated, like, moment, it just
spreads. It's then, like a yawn where you yawn and they yawn and then they yawn and everybody's like, yawning.
Oh, she's here now. I feel bad, but I don't even know how much I can help her.
Yeah, when I myself can't even help myself right now.
That's that's probably the main thing I'm working on right now, and I'm at work masking. I'm not doing a really good job of that because, again, I've been crying all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And not anything to do with the job. But yeah, and so then I come home. We've talked about that before. And so you're a little more real, a little more raw. And so.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's been really a big thing for the dysregulation and parenting right now.
Yes, exactly. That's so hard. And it does make me sometimes wonder, like, how was it for my mom? Like, did she have that kind of stuff that happened when I was a kid to the point where, because I know our next thing we're going to be talking about is our childhoods and how we feel our mental health was affected by the parenting from their parenting and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot, like, because my mom was a single parent with all those kids. So I'm like, how did she?
And extra kids.
Yes, and extra kids. She babysat, did foster care, and all of these kids. And I mean, now as an adult, I know a lot of us took care of each other, and she kind of like did charts were a big thing. So like, but yeah, it's definitely like, how the heck when I only have 3 and I'm sitting here like, how, and I have my husband too. So it's hard. So all you single parents out there, I give you kudos. I'm going to just put that right now because that's just, that is a hard, difficult thing to do.
I only did it 1 year and oh my God, I can't imagine. So you guys are heroes.
Yeah, seriously. Exactly.
Well, our childhoods. And I looked at
bum,
that.
Bum, bum, bum.
I know. I'm like, how our mental health was affected by our parenting. Like, I'm like, well, it's all because of that.
Yes, exactly.
But I had a very traumatic, I had a horrible mother, and, the person who says, I love you, is neglecting you, is hitting you, is kicked me out of the house at 15. It's like, so then my, idea of love, I'm like...
if that's love, what the heck?
Fuck? And that's, part of the abandonment stuff where, I'm like, Lucas, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me?
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to run away next week, right?
Yeah.
Because there's that possibility. That's how it is for me, too. Like, there's that possibility in my mind, like, it could happen at any time because it's happened before, so.
Yeah. And, I wrote horrible mother, no father. I mean, obviously, I knew my father, your father, but,
yeah.
So his brother, would try to get him involved here and there. That uncle, when we were kids, he was there, once a month visiting us or stuff,
See, that's
kind
nice.
of trying, I think, to fill that. I don't know what his, thought process was. But yeah, so, it wasn't until your mom started being you need to write them letters, that we started even, it was all your mom. He never had any motivation to do anything.
Oh, no, never. Not even when we were kids. I was going to say,
no.
All my memories of him are just him sitting and playing video games.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Or smoking outside.
I was going to say, I was like, should I say that?
That's probably the only thing I got from him. I smoked too.
But yeah, that was really big. And then it was those 2 summers. And again, that's when your mom was like, you have to get these kids here and see their siblings. And he didn't really do much. He did drive the second summer, I think. But yeah, and so that's all I knew. He'd write in letters, oh, I'll come visit, and then never visit.
Show
so
up. Yeah.
That's where, I talked about before, I crossed off Father's Day, on the calendar. And it's interesting because, you and I are 7 years apart, but he also left you guys.
Oh, yeah. I remember it very well that day.
I remember being really pissed because I'm like, in my mind, because I think I was 14 ish when that happened. And I was like, well, I understand why my mom's an ass. I wouldn't want to live with her either. But I'm like, to leave 2 kids. And then I'm like, 5 more kids, you're just going to fucking leave.
Yeah, and one's a baby. Wow.
I was so pissed. So.
But then you hear stories later on when you're like, oh, well, it wasn't all, roses.
Right.
And
exactly.
just a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But it's just so hard because I'm like, how could you leave your kids?
I know.
It's so hard. I can't even comprehend it.
No, and that's where the whole, a lot of that abandonment stuff.
But it could just be people think they give up. They're like, I don't feel like I'm a good parent. I don't want to try. I'm just going to go,
Yeah.
Instead of some people should do, which is you keep going. You keep trying. Every day's not a new day, but you can start over, start fresh as best you can. And
I mean, I didn't want this to get, parent bashing, but
no.
There was something I was going to say. No, I forgot it. It was
I know for me, I was talking a little bit about with my mother, even though, because I feel like when it comes to you looking at your parents when you're having kids, there's certain things you look at and you're like, I want to do that with my kids. And then there's certain things you look at and you're like, that traumatized me. I don't want to do that with my kids type thing. And I think one of the biggest things with my mother was guilt manipulation because she graduated as a child psychologist. She kind of approached things in a very different way. And I feel like that's why all of my siblings and myself have guilt issues. And that's why the next episode is going to be so easy for me to talk about because of that. But a lot of things like that she did that were amazing as a parent, I'm like, I want to do those kind of things. I want, that kind of positive stuff. But then there's other things where I'm like, I would never do that. Like, I would never do that, especially even now, things she's doing now where I'm like, I would never do that. So,
I remember in high school, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to do what my parents did. And it's not anything really bad. It's just normal stuff, and then people are like, oh, I'm ending up like my mother.
I sounded like my mom when I said that. Oh, which has happened to me.
And I remember specifically, and it was around the same time that I crossed Father's Day off, but I'm like, why the fuck would you do this? I'm never going to do that to my kid. I'm never going to do that. I'm not ever going to tell them they can't wear a color. I'm not going to choose their stuff for them. That's why my kids have had colored hair since they were in first grade. So I remember making that list.
Which is good because that's self-expression, and I feel like that's so important. And so many parents, even now, they'll try to stifle that, and it's like, why would you want to stifle someone's individuality? That's crazy. But.
So my PTSD is 100% not. I mean, no, there's other things that happen later in my life too, but
that's the start of everything, and then it snowballs and evolves as you have more and more trauma build up on top of that trauma that's unresolved. So, because that's the hardest thing when you're a kid is you don't realize you're in trauma, you don't realize the things that you're going through are not normal and not okay until you see other instances where you're like, okay, that was not okay.
No,
but you've already lived through it and you're already traumatized by it. So
this is funny. I always debated sharing this with another podcast where they talk about trash parents, and so I've always thought about, and that usually isn't like abusive parents. It's like, the 70s, 80s, and 90s parents did stuff like left you somewhere.
Or they say, go play outside, don't come back until the end of the day. And they don't even check on you the whole day.
Right. So it's usually that kind of stories. And I always think about this, but I'm like, oh, it's really neglect and abuse. So maybe I shouldn't share or, so I haven't. But so I'll share it here on our podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad. Like, are they going to listen or not? Not that I care. I haven't talked to my mother in forever, but it's my truth. So
exactly.
I had to have been like 3, maybe almost 4. So then that would make Connie, my sister, 1 or 2, like really young, like barely. I mean, she was walking, but anyways, there was something that happened we were at our godmother's house, someone that she knew. She probably used her too much or things like that. But we had to hitchhike home. She was taking a like 3 or 4-year-old and like a less than 2-year-old hitchhiking.
Oh my gosh.
And I just remember it was just gravel on the side.
Dude, that's fucking scary.
And it gets worse. So I remember, and I don't know time, but I remember it was right before dusk. And so I remember it getting dark, and it was dark for a long time. I mean, I think back now and it seemed like forever, but it was probably about an hour that we were walking, if not more, because it had been dark for a long time. We were walking, and like Connie couldn't walk that far, and I really couldn't. And I was crying, she was crying, and it was like, I don't know, she was just dragging us along. And at one point, and she was trying to hitchhike. And at one point, there was this big van, like a work van that was like, I think a carpet cleaner or something. See, this is where trauma.
Yeah, like wow, a van. This is getting worse and worse.
It seared into my brain.
Oh yeah, the fact that you can so vividly remember it even now.
And so this van, and he came, and he's like, "Where are you going?" And she said, "Where?" And he's like, "Well, I'm only going this far, but I can take you this far." So we loaded up in the back of this van, and he's like, I don't know, drove. I don't even know how far we lived because he drove a long time. And again, it might be a little longer because I was young, but it was still.
The concept of time is harder when you're younger.
But I remember like what darkness it was. Like I can feel that.
Yeah.
And so he dropped us off at this space where he was going a different direction. So that was fine. But how do you know it's going to be fine?
Yeah, you don't.
Some random dude in a van that has no windows in it,
Like that could have been the end of everything.
Exactly. And so we were walking probably not more than 20 minutes. And he had swung back around, and he's like, my wife would kill me if she knew that I would leave, you 3 on the side of the road. So he did, drive us back all the way to our house and everything, and it turned out good. But I would never do that with my children.
No,
I don't know.
that's scary.
I don't know what I would do, but like I would never like walk in the dark on like, and there was like, you know, because it was in Oregon in Corvallis area, and so you know the back roads kind of area.
Yikes.
There was no sidewalks, so
That's
it was
scary.
like I could only think like, you know, single highway kind of areas, you know, or
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, those kind of like neglect, that was that was one that I think about all the time
Because you're just like,
how?
if somebody saw that now,
Yeah.
CPS would be
Yeah,
coming up
I
on the
know.
road and
And
taking
so,
them.
you know, it was different in the early
Man.
80s, but
yeah, that's true. But thank you to that man in the van.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir,
I
wherever
know,
you are
maybe
now.
I know that I think about that all the time, and I'm like, and I could see that, like, oh, I'm just going this far, and then thinking, oh shit, I should have.
Like, what if I hear tomorrow something
Yeah,
happened to a woman and
what
two
I would
kids,
do,
and
yeah.
then exactly, exactly.
So that went a little long, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'd love to hear those kind of stories. Like it's good to get a perspective of just what you're dealing with as a child, because you're only 3, you're only 4. Like you have no say. You're not even big enough to even understand how to make a decision for yourself. So it's like you have to go along with this person, and it's scary to think that. Yeah, that's scary.
Oh.
Goodness gracious. Well, I think we'll start talking about our upcoming episodes now, because I feel like this is a great transition since our next episode is about guilt and shame, and I feel like parenting really goes along with that so well.
Oh yeah, and I know
like a huge aspect of my parenting has to do with feeling guilty or shame, whether guilty about helping myself or shame over the way I treated somebody when I was angry and I shouldn't have. So
oh yeah. And that's going to be 2 parts. We're going to talk about what they are in the first episode and kind of really get personal about guilt and shame in the second episode. I mean, we always talk about our stories, but that's kind of how we split it up, because there's just so much we wanted to share. And
it just pertains to everything else we talk about. I know I say that a lot, but this guilt and shame especially, I feel like, are the undercusp of just everything that we deal with, because it escalates things.
And then we've talked a lot about that in this episode, but the next episode after those will be like meltdowns, dysregulations.
Yeah. I can share just how a meltdown works for me, maybe from start to finish, just so people can kind of understand, because it's hard when you hear somebody talking normal and, you know, joking around and stuff to really see them in that aspect, because it's a totally different, it's almost like it's a different person, even though it's not, but that's not the person you see. So it's nice to share that, because there's a lot of people that are dealing with meltdowns, dysregulations, and it's embarrassing, but at the same time, it's normal.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And that's the big thing, is people like push it out, they close the door on it, but it's like, this is a normal thing that if you don't deal with it, you know, it gets worse. So
yeah, that's why, you know, our whole breaking the stigma, we want to share ours.
Exactly.
Because you're not a weirdo. You're not bad.
Yes.
You know,
it's a normal thing. More people than you realize are dealing with these things just behind closed doors and not talking about it. So
100%. Well, I think it's that time.
Yes.
Well, she's going to tell a story, and then it sparked something for me. So
because I was kind of giving like a small overview to her, or to KJ, right before we started, and so I was like, and then they were like, "Oh wait, I have something as well that matches that." So I was like, "Perfect. Awesome." So I'll start with I know everybody, I've told this before, but I just got my car, woo! And so, you know, my biggest thing is I'm not afraid of my driving. I'm just scared of everybody else's driving. And the other day I had my youngest Sean in the car in the back with me, and we had just gone to Walmart, so I have all these groceries in the back, and I'm feeling great. I'm singing to the music. I'm super excited. The grocery trip went well, which, you know, 50-50. You never know how that's going to go. Yeah. And Sean was acting good, you know, and we were going to go home, and I had all these great plans. Yeah. And I'm all of a sudden I see this truck with a big trailer that has a bunch of building supplies in the back, going off the exit onto the main highway. And as it's going off the exit, things are flying. I can see the things, but I can't get over because there's people in both lanes. And so he pulls out right in front of me. The way it happened, of course, he's right in front of me, and stuff's flying out. The first few things that flew out, and the first thing I do is I'm behind this guy, I'm honking, because I'm like, maybe he doesn't realize that stuff's flying out. Now, this is like a construction company car, so I'm like, it's a company car, so obviously, you know, like they would stop, you would think. Yeah. And so I'm honking, and then all of a sudden, a big chunk of, they said in the end, it turns out it was like a piece that they build decks with, like a big piece of something that they build decks with.
Oh, weird.
But it flew out in the corner of it, hit my windshield,
Oh.
cracked it, and then, fell off of the side of the road. So I'm honking. I pull up finally beside this truck, and I'm honking, and I look over, and they're not looking at me. They're just still driving, and stuff's still flying out. And there's other cars that are avoiding these things that are flying out. And they're looking forward, and I know they can. And there's two guys in this truck, and I know they see it at this point because I'm honking like nonstop, staring at them honking. And I was the only one honking too, and I'm like, why is nobody else honking? Am I going crazy here? But the worst part of the story was like after the fact because they wouldn't stop. So I just went home. And then, of course, I called the police because I'm like, I don't want to pay for this.
Yeah.
But I'm upset because we just got this car. We just got insurance. I'm like, my premium's going to go up. I'm going to have bigger payments, something, you know. And then to find out the part of the road that we got hit, we can't talk to the police. We have to talk to the state troopers because of where it was.
Shit.
So now I got to call the state troopers. And then
did you know the company? Were you able to?
No, unfortunately, I was not able to. But when I called the state troopers, they're like, yes, we've had multiple people tell us about this incident. But the thing was, this state trooper who I had played phone tag a little bit because at first Ryan called for me because I have anxiety. So I didn't want to call. So, of course, Ryan's calling, but he doesn't know the details. So they're like, I have to talk to her. And so I'm like, fuck, of course they do. So I call him, and after the phone tag, we talk, and it's like he's testing me, he's asking me specific questions to make sure that I actually was there and actually witnessed it. Yeah. I know that they have to do that. Yes. Like, I know for an investigation they have to, but all the time I'm like, he doesn't believe me. He thinks I'm lying. And I'm like, am I wrong? Am I overreacting? Did I do something wrong? Like driving too close in the back or, something like that, where I'm like, what did I do wrong? Or are they not going to believe me in the end? And then he's going to be like, I don't believe it because I couldn't remember it. Because he's like, what color was the truck? What kind of writing was it? What color was the trailer? And I'm like, I can't remember. I'm like, it was so chaotic, so much going on. I was trying to get the guy's attention. I wasn't really, like, I knew it was a white truck. I knew there was writing on the side. I knew it was construction supplies because my ex-stepdad worked in construction when we were growing up. So I've seen, they'll have the rectangles with the writing on the outside of it. And it just looks very similar, almost like a filter, like an air filter. But I had to describe in detail to this officer. And then on top of it, I still have an Oregon license and not a Minnesota one. And I should have one right now because you get like 6 months and then you're supposed to change it. And I've been here a little longer than that. So he's like, why isn't your license done? And I'm like, oh God, now I'm in trouble for my license. And this is, I called them, oh God. And so it was so stressful. But then it turned out well because he was like, I believe you. Here's the incident report. You can send that to your insurance. And then we talked to our insurance and they're like, that's no problem. Apparently if you get anything on your windshield, if you report it right away, they'll fix it for free through my insurance. And so they just sent Safelite out to fix it like the next day. Yeah. But it was so stressful, and I felt like I did something wrong, even though I didn't. And I know I did the right thing. I was honking, trying to get these people's attention, which they did get the attention. They just were ignoring me. Yeah. But it turns out it was a hit and run. They knew who the person was. They knew who the company was in the end. Good. He told me all these other things because he was like asking me like specifics, like what color was the strap? Because there was like they did strap the stuff in, and so like, but I guess the way they done it, the stuff was just flying through the straps. And I just remember the straps were yellow. So I was like, they were yellow straps because I kept thinking, like, why is this stuff flying out if they strapped it down? And he's like, that's accurate. You're right. And so I was like, good. I didn't know I was taking a test today, but good. I'm glad I'm right because that's how I remember it. So I'm like, am I remembering it wrong? Is he going to think I'm a liar because I can't remember it properly? But anyway, so yeah. But now it's fixed and we're good to go. So
nice. Yeah. You're able to make it here.
Yeah. And no premium raise, nothing because it's just, it was a little crack, even though it was like a star crack, like the worst one you can get, of course. But
yeah, I did work at a auto glass place that we would go out to people's cars and stuff.
See, that's nice. I'm glad they did that. I didn't have to take it anywhere. They just come to me. I was like, that's nice. Wonderful.
So I have major trauma PTSD around this subject. So I had this written in my, on my phone, I put my chaos corners,
yeah, exactly.
So I've had it in there. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So when I was in high school, we were driving to my graduation party and there was 3 cars. There was a bunch of us and we were in 3 different cars. And there was a vehicle kind of farther up that had a blown up. Why you have it blown up, I don't know, but they had a blown up inner tube, like the big inner tubes you like float in the
like the
river
black ones or the rainbow ones.
The black one, those big giant ones.
Yeah, those are heavy, actually.
Yeah, and so it came flying. We were like on a 3-lane highway, and it almost hit my best friend's car, and then it bounced to my other friend's car. It didn't hit any of us, but everybody's trying to dodge it.
Oh, yeah.
So I've always been really afraid of that. I'm like, someone could die, because, that's how our brains go.
Well, and when we were kids, Final Destination.
Yeah.
So there's that too. Oh, I was like, because I remember that.
But now I do. And so, okay, when I got my first truck, because I lease my trucks, and so this is my third one. But I got my first truck. We had the topper on it. And, it's all tied down. Well, Lucas and Zayden went and got something. He thought that they got it tightened down enough. And this was the first time I was getting on the freeway in this truck. Like,
First time
I was driving a truck. And, like, right where we are, we get on the freeway in 70 miles an hour.
Yeah,
so,
it's super
so I get
fast.
up to speed, and all of a sudden it flies off. And I was just devastated. I was like, I killed somebody.
What do I do? What do you do?
There was nowhere for me to pull over, like all this stuff, and I didn't hear any crashes. I didn't see anything, and there weren't that many people on the road. But I called Lucas right away, and I was like, "This happened! Oh my god!" And so he went, because it was just right by our house. Like, I just got on the freeway, so he went and he saw. He said most of it was on the side, but he ran into the
road
highway
and grabbed it. Oh my gosh, how scary!
But
how scary!
From that moment, I am traumatized, and I tried to do everything safe, and and it wasn't totally his fault. It was our first time doing it. But now I'm like, did you?
Yeah.
Did you do it? I'm like,
triple check that every time, every day.
Yeah. So, that was scary. So yeah, you said all she said was like there was a truck, something flew out, and I'm like, oh. That's one of mine.
You're
too.
like, that's it. We're going on the same story this time. Well, and like I had said, Final Destination when I was young was a huge thing, and it was the one where the stuff flies out of the truck.
I did see that, and I think maybe it was my senior year, so maybe I had seen it.
So we'd always joke, "Oh, it's Final Destination moment," and now I'm like, I really had that, and it's not fun. And now I notice every trailer, every truck. I see it all.
I have PTSD from mine going off. It's probably been, I don't know. How long have we been this? So 6 years, 5 years. And yeah, that was really scary.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm glad that nothing happened. So
yeah, same with you. You guys were safe. So
all right. Well, as always, we want to hear from you guys. We'd love to hear from other parents out there or just other people on your perspectives on what we talked about today.
Yeah. Always anything we want.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us stories. Tell us, questions. Just
tangents
anything.
You might have.
Yeah.
We want to hear them.
Random shit. Everything comes down to relating to, even if you don't have mental illnesses, but you still have daily struggles that we all do, and we can all relate it to
we all have
our
emotions.
lives.
We all have to deal with them in one way or another with different circumstances. So
for sure. And you can find us pretty much everywhere. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and that's all at and YouTube. I forgot that, but it's all at Coping Chaos Podcast.
Oh yeah, we also have Patreon.
Yes,
so we have a free tier that has some stuff. So if you just want to check it out and look at it, just join the free tier. Check it out, and
you can chat with us there. We don't have anybody in there yet, but
hey, we're always ready to chat.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we have higher tiers. I've been adding all kinds of stuff in our $6 tier.
Yeah.
We have when we visited their stores, and I have like extra chaos corners, and we have what we're calling Tangent Tuesday. So it's sometimes we record for over an hour and a half, so I have to cut a lot of good stuff out. So I'll take those tangents and put them in a special collection there.
That's fun.
And then random stuff I've put in there too. So go check it out. We'd love it. We just, we appreciate any support that you guys can give us.
Yeah, and review us. Give us some good reviews. Yeah. We want to hear what you're experiencing, how happy you are, how unhappy, what you want us more to share of.
Yeah.
But reviews really help us a lot to know we're doing all right, to know that we're kind of talking what other people want to hear type of thing. I mean, it's partly for us, but also, like we said, we're building this community. So we really want input that'll really help a lot. So
yeah. So we have an email address. You can email anything to us. No hate. That's what we say.
Exactly.
I guess I shouldn't say anything to us, but
just know you'll be blocked if it's not nice.
So it's copingchaospodcast@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Yay. We still know how to do this.
Yes, right? I know sometimes after a few weeks, I'm like, is this going to go as smooth as it did the last time? But then we just get right into it. So
except for the computer stopping recording.
I know.
For a second. So
well, in the beginning, it's like not wanting to do record at all.
Yeah,
and then it's like, I'm just going to stop randomly.
I have no idea. Like, I didn't touch anything and it just stopped. But all right. Well, the biggest thing we want everyone to know is that you're not alone in this. We want this to be a safe space to share our experiences as a community.
Exactly. And remember, we love you guys. And we're so thankful that you guys listened to today's episode of Coping Chaos. And as always, we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Coping Chaos is hosted and produced by KJ Servey and Leah Williams. Audio mixed and edited by KJ Servey. Our theme song is by Lucas Servey and Leah Williams. Artwork is created by Lucas Servey. You can now follow Coping Chaos on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Coping Chaos Podcast. We have also started a Patreon at Coping Chaos Podcast, where you can help support us and have access to exclusive content. Please feel free to rate and review wherever you stream. Send us your questions, stories, and Chaos Corner moments to copingchaospodcast@gmail.com.